month on Corel WTA Tour Tennis, the stars come together for the last time in 1995.
We're in New York for the Tour Championships, but first we reflect on the dramatic year which brought us to Madison Square Garden.
It's been a year of new stars and old. For keeping fit and having fun. For continuing success.
I know, sorry.
And a famous comeback.
They make you fun of me, too. Souvenir programs, all you need to know about the tennis this year.
It all began back in January in Melbourne with Steffi Graf out injured. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario met Mary Pierce in the first Grand Slam final of the year. And it was another first for Pierce, her first Grand Slam title.
Just after that match point when I beat Arantxa in the finals was just amazing for me. It's like a dream come true. It's something that I'll never forget. And even talking about it now, I can just, feel it. It was just a feeling of such happiness, but also I was so surprised. I couldn't believe it.
With spring came the clay court season. Red in Europe, green in the USA. But all the same to Conchita Martinez, 1995's Queen of Clay. 4 straight singles titles culminated in the Italian Open.
Clay is still my favorite surface, and I think I play my best there. And when you're, number 2, number 3, and you play your best surface, you're going to have a big chance to win those tournaments.
In Hamburg, she beat a young player who many are tipping to go far. Martina Hingis reached her first final in her first full year as a pro at the age of 14.
It was a great feeling about to stand in the final and play against Conchita Martinez, and it was a great experience for me to be in the ceremony and first have so many people on the court, and everything was very nice.
The climax of the clay season, the French Open. Could it be 2 Grand Slams in a row for local hero Mary Pierce? It couldn't. She lost in the 4th round to Eva Maioli, another teenager making an impact in '95. A fit again Steffi was making a belated start to the Grand Slam season, meeting the beaten finalist in Melbourne, Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. And it was to be defeat again for Arantxa.
Set match, Mademoiselle Graf.
A month later, she'd have another try. And the grass courts of Wimbledon would see some of the best women's tennis ever played. Final set, 5-all. Victory in an epic game meant Graf served for the championship. A great final for Graf, but also for her opponent and the game.
The fact that everybody saw that women's tennis is improving and is getting, better level, I was glad to be able to be part of that, and people talk about that a lot.
I am back. I'm back. I am back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to present the return of a champion who has truly been missed, Monica Seles.
More than 2 years after she was stabbed on court in Hamburg, a real Las Vegas welcome for a returning star. And Monica proved she could still beat the best. The comeback came in Toronto. Not even a Hollywood scriptwriter could have written a better ending. Probably the most emotional win of her career.
I wasn't sure if I would be back and playing tennis again. And there's so many emotions here from the first day till the last day. And it's just amazing. I can't believe that this is real. Oh boy.
But we knew it was real when we saw something some feared might never happen again. A Graf Celes Grand Slam final at the US Open. Monica had to give way to Steffi on the day, but what a way to whet the appetite for our return to the Big Apple for the season's climax.
Hi, welcome to New York.
Thank you, Steffi. Yes, we're back here for the 14th time for the end-of-year WTA Tour Championships. The place still stirs the blood with its daunting skyline and endless neon. So too does the traditional home of the championships, the Madison Square Garden, full of buzz and bustle. The one big disappointment, no Monica. Her knee and ankle still not right. So all eyes on Steffi and a major supporting cast, the top 16 in the world. And the lady who's won the tournament an incredible 8 times just can't stay away.
There are a few special arenas for in your sport, but then the garden is like it for whether you're a performer or an athlete. Basketball, hockey, tennis, boxing. So this is, to me, this is a mecca of indoor tennis.
Last year, remember, Gabriela Sabatini brought Martina's finale to an abrupt end. She went on to win the tournament, and not surprisingly, has fond memories.
I really like this tournament a lot. You know, it means a lot to be here, to be playing in New York at the Madison with that crowd that is great. And, you know, that gives me extra motivation.
Well, Gabriela duly put paid to Lindsay Davenport in a repeat of last year's final, but in the quarterfinals was taken out by an inspired Natasha Zvereva, who'd earlier squeaked through against Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. Now, though, Natasha had to take on her bête noire, Steffi Graf. Their head-to-head dates back to the French Open final in 1988, which Steffi won 6-love, 6-love. Since then, they've played another 13 times. Every time, Natasha's come off second best. This one, too, began in the same vein. Steffi took the first set 6-4, but this time Natasha hit back immediately. Natasha stealing in here, forcing Steffi to pass. The volleys under the severest pressure, but she keeps control, just. It was shots like that that helped the Belarus girl to a 3-love second-set lead. That was the signal for an all-out Graf assault. It was getting increasingly difficult to keep the ball away from that Graf forehand. Steffi now in full flow, and even though Natasha's backhand here was going out, you can see Steffi more than happy to play the drive volley. Natasha gave everything to try and stay afloat, but it was nowhere near good enough. The crowd at this, the home of the big fights, were witnessing some scrap, but it was coming to an abrupt finish. Natasha is facing match point. Steffi had won the last 6 games in a row. She was through to her 5th New York final. Meanwhile, the bottom of the draw had seen the seeds decimated. Anke Huber taking out Mary Pierce and Kamiko Dati, and the Dutch girl, Brenda Schultz-McCarthy, ending the hopes of Maggie Malieva and Conchita Martinez. So let's hear it for Europe, who had all 4 semi-finalists. Dizzy heights for Brenda, playing the best tennis of her life, but although she'd won 2 of their 5 matches, she was now up against a player who'd rediscovered her belief, and the Huber forehand was looking impressive. Brenda examining the line, but she was being taken apart by some prodigious hitting from her 20-year-old opponent. But the Dutch girl, playing in the biggest match of her career, was giving it her all. Huber, though, a set up, and here at 5-3, was hitting with awesome power on both wings. And here's the German at match point. So Huber's disappointing year was to end with a flourish, through to only her 2nd final of 1995.
Former champions were back in New York to present the 1995 Tour Awards. Among the winners, Martina Navratilova's young namesake.
Well, it is certainly an honor to have someone named after you. From what I've seen, I think this young woman will make a name for herself. The 1995 Girl WTA Tour most impressive newcomer of the year, Martina Hingis.
So this is an evening which I'll never forget. I'm very honored to receive this award. I've enjoyed my first year on the Coral West WTA Tour, and I'm very happy to get this award.
She may have your name, but she's also cuter than you, too. Okay.
That's not written down here. You made that up.
Double team of the year, I don't even have to open it, goes to Gigi Fernandez and Natasha Zvereva.
They've continued to win and to entertain in 95, and if they stop winning, they could have futures as catwalk models.
There is no mystery about our next award winner, which is the Comeback Player of the Year. And that, of course, is Monica Seles.
In addition to the Comeback Player Award, Monica was also voted Most Exciting Player by the fans.
Both awards mean a lot to me because one was voted by all the players and the other one by the fans. And after such a long dark period in my life, the last few months have been quite amazing. I'm sure I'll see you here in '96, and hope you'll see play some great tennis. Thank you.
And it was left to the tour sponsor to announce the evening's final award.
1995 Frau WTA Tour Player of the Year, Steffi Graf.
It's really nice to receive this award, see on the court where we perform and earn these awards. So I'm really happy to be able to get it here in front of you.
So to the final, a winner's check of $500,000 awaits, and for Anke Huber, it must have seemed a case of so near, but yet so far. In her 9 matches against Steffi, she'd not won once and had claimed only 3 sets. This time, Anke stayed with her all the way. The only potential 5-set match of the year was indeed going into a decider. coach Zoltan Zaharsky must have been filled with pride. Even at full stretch, she was pulling off winners on both sides. Graf, though, kept hammering away. But whenever Hubert did get a short ball, she wasn't hanging about. In the heart of the fifth set, Steffi's forehand began to win the argument. And here at 5-3, after 2 hours and 46 minutes, she was at match point. Great to see her beaming smile at the end of what's been the most volatile year of her life. French Open champion, Wimbledon champion, US champion, and now the WTA Tour champion. With just 2 losses in some 48 matches, she is for sure the player of the year.
Let's have a look at the other winners at the end of 95. Maggie's marvellous end to the year confirmed by her win in Oakland, Steffi's 8th of the year in Philadelphia, and the doubles winners in New York, Arantxa and Jana.
So at the end of the year, Anke Huber finds herself back in the top 10. Eva Maioli, who started the year at 13, has moved up to 9. Mary Jo Fernandez is at 8. Gabriella's New York disappointment means that she drops to 7. Maggie Malieva moves to a career best, 6. Mary Pierce moves back up to 5. A career best for Kamiko at 4. The Spaniards swap places. Arantxa drops, and Conchita moves to a career high 2. And at joint number 1, the dynamic duo. Let's hope 96 brings more of the sensational stuff they produced at Flushing Meadow.
So it's been another great year for the joint world number 1. But this time last year, life wasn't looking so good for Steffi Graf. After her defeat by Mary Pierce at Madison Square Garden, she didn't compete for another 3 months, and a chronic back injury made her consider giving up the game.
The low point was really when I went to the doctors and didn't really know where to go. I felt that maybe the time was come where I have to leave the sport because of my back injury. I went to a lot of different doctors right after the Masters here last year, and everybody was kind of telling me that there isn't really a cure, and even operation will not help it. At the end, I found a doctor and a physical therapist that helped me get back onto the training, and I did things a little different. I didn't play as much, and just took really care of my body, maybe, which I haven't really done as much as I at times should have.
In mid-February, she was back on court, and she didn't drop a set in her preparation for Roland Garros.
I had only one lead-up tournament for the French Open, which wasn't really a lot, especially on clay, and I felt that maybe I just wasn't as prepared as I could have been. Just a couple of days before the tournament, I started thinking if I should have played and if I should have started or just concentrate on Wimbledon, and I was really happy that I took the chance and played, and to obviously win it just chopped it off.
Despite her doubts about the surface, Steffi beat clay court specialists Martinez and Sanchez Vicario on her way to her 4th French Open title. A month on, it was the Wimbledon final, and that spectacular 11th game in the deciding set.
Let's say I think it's the most exciting game that I've ever played, and the longest, obviously. And I recently watched it, and it was great. I mean, just sitting there and watching the points, it was amazing to me the way it just went back and forth, and how we really played for the points, not really many mistakes. So I think it was just an incredible game.
But the joy of the Graf family would soon turn to despair as tax problems led to the imprisonment of her father, Peter. Steffi's preparations for the US Open were thrown into turmoil.
Since the Wimbledon, I only played one tournament, and that was in Toronto. I lost first round against Amanda Cutson, and it was a really difficult, the most difficult time probably in my life. And obviously I just didn't feel well prepared for the US Open again, but I've been at this point a couple of times during the course of the year, so I felt maybe I could just play a couple matches, see how things go, but I obviously didn't really think that I could do it.
But she could. Despite the excitement surrounding the return of her old rival Monica Seles and her own personal problems, Graf came through in 3 sets.
I think it was a win that was totally unexpected. I mean, Wimbledon, I can say, all right, I did it. In Paris, I was still sort of in shape. But at the US Open, I really felt that a lot of things weren't really going in my way, and that's why I think it's probably the biggest win of my life.
Steffi's emotions have been close to the surface often this year.
I just say that I'm really happy. I think this year, for a lot of reasons, at times I got emotional, and people realized that there's more of a person probably behind me than I've most of the time showed. And if somebody just comes up to you and says something that, shows some support, I think that's really special.
9 titles, including 3 Grand Slams, under the hardest of circumstances. Steffi certainly hasn't taken her victories for granted this year.
I've definitely done unexpected this year. At least I didn't expect the things that I did myself, and so the outcome always was really special to me.
Congratulations to Steffi Graf, the Corel WTA Tour Player of the Year for 1995.
She and the rest of the award winners will be back in '96, as will we. So from me, Eleanor Oldroyd.
And from me, Simon Reed, goodbye.